In this video, we're going to explore some of the different interfaces available to us as developers in terms of actually creating a site. So one of the most useful tools is called CRXDE Lite. And what CRXDE Lite is it's basically a browser-based integrated development environment. So what we can do is we, as developers, can simply open up CRXDE Lite inside of any browser and actually start writing code to build out our website. So let's explore how to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just go to localhost 4502/CRXDE. And that's going to take me to my browser-based integrated development environment. So you'll see right here I've opened up CRXDE Lite, and this provides a window into the Java content repository. So everything is stored as content. So this is a very powerful paradigm because it doesn't tie you to a database. Now a database can connect back to the repository, but we don't necessarily have to. So for example, if I go into the content section here, as you see, and then I open up my geometric site, okay, and then I go to the English section, for example, and I go to my products, you'll see the oval page that the author actually created. And that's stored inside of the content repository. And you can see there's some information here directly about that page. So I can see when it was last modified, I can see who created it, and I can even see the template that was used to create it. So if you look here, let me just go ahead and maximize that. You'll see it says Apps Geometrics Template Content Page. So it's using a template called the content page component. And again, we can take a look at that and we can actually see that, and we're going to actually build our own template. And you'll also see that there's a Sling resource type. Now we're going to cover this Sling resource type later on, but you'll see here it says Geometrics Components Content Page. So that's all under the apps directory, which is where all of our components are stored. So let's look at how Geometrics was put together. If I go to apps and I go to Geometrics, and I go to components here, you'll see all of the different components that are part of the geometric site. And lo and behold, there is a content page. And inside of this content page, you'll see that there are some different JSPs. So for example, here is this content JSP. And this is what's called a Java server page. And in terms of CQ, you use JSPs to actually render and create the look and feel of your site. So you basically use it for all the presentation logic. So if I look at the content.jsp, I can open it up here and you'll see all of the code. So for example, you'll see the includes that have been done, you'll see all of the different CQ components that ship with CQ, and you can see that this is actually created. So you'll see, for example, there's a breadcrumb component that we're using, there's a redirect component, and you can access all of this directly inside of CRXDE. So that's very, very powerful, and you can see those different JSPs. And again, this is actually going to take the content and render the content from the repository onto the page. And again, we're going to build our own site, but you can kind of see sort of how the geometric site is put together and how it's all set up. So again, the key here is that everything inside of CQ is content. Whether it's a JSP, whether it's an OSGI bundle, and we're going to look at OSGI bundles in just a second, which contain all of your business logic for your site, everything is content. Whether it's just information about the circle or the overview and the features, everything is stored inside of the JCR as content. So very, very powerful. And again, any changes that I make in CRXDE, I can simply just click Save All, and that will save all of that information. So again, CRXDE is a quick, down and dirty way to actually look at that. Now, if I go to localhost 4502, and then I go to System, and I go to console/bundles, this will show me all of the OSGI bundles that are currently installed on my system. Now, OSGI is a very, very powerful architecture because basically it allows us to build loosely coupled components as black boxes. So again, you can see I have these different OSGI bundles. All of these are built in Java, and we're going to cover later on how to build our own OSGI bundles, which we use to store things like business logic and that kind of thing. But here, I can start and stop each OSGI bundle here. So again, these are all separate components, and they work together and they sit on top of a different layer, but it's a very, very powerful architecture because our components are completely loosely coupled and they're all black boxes. So I can just stop one and it won't affect the other components because they all live sort of on this services layer. So this is a very powerful architecture, and we're going to cover that more. So what I wanted to do in this is just give you an idea of some of the interfaces that are available to you as a developer, and now what we're going to do is actually explore how to build a brand new site.